I'm very glad that I have this opportunity to be able to present on livestock industry in Sarawak. So I will be giving you some information on livestock industry in Sarawak for the next 20 minutes or so. I hope I can keep to the time. Okay, next slide. Yeah, for my presentation, I would like to present on the current status of the livestock industry in Sarawak, livestock contribution to Sarawak economy, investment opportunities in the livestock industry in Sarawak, and the last one, incentive for investors. Next. Okay, for the current status of livestock industry in Sarawak. Although Sarawak is a big state, the biggest state in Malaysia, the livestock industry and the livestock population is not really the biggest yet. So there is a big potential for it to be developed. As you can see, I said a slide on the population of just selected livestock last year. You see the arrow up means the population is going up. Arrow down, the trend of going down population. We see our cattle only 17,000. Our buffalo only 7,000. Goat about 13,000. Sheep about 2,000. Deer about 1,002. Poultry and swine less than 1 million. It's about 829,000. These are the population of livestock that we have in Sarawak. Next. Yes, for the livestock industry profile in Sarawak, our livestock farming, it is regulated under our Veterinary Public Health Ordinance 1999. Oh. There is Control of Livestock Farming Rule 2003. Whereby those who do commercial farming, they have to apply license. We have to license and we have to control the regulate the thing. And our state now, we are self-sufficient in poultry meat, we are self-sufficient in egg and pork, and we export some of them, especially to Singapore, and even to Hong Kong, in Indonesia, and other parts of Malaysia. Our pig and poultry sector, they are private sector driven. They are well stratified and fully integrated in the cold chain supply system. All in all, we have 635 livestock commercial farms that are already licensed. Out of them, poultry is the leading, the 517 poultry farms, followed by pig, 106 farms, and ruminant only 12. These are the licensed farms that we already have in Sarawak. And we also have about 5,000 sheeplet houses of premise, where we already install RFID to 1,800 for traceability purpose. And out of this licensed farm, we have around 140 farms with MyGap certification. Out of this 140 MyGap farm, poultry is the leading, also 14 poultry, whereby 3 layer farm, 5 broiler farm, and 1 organic poultry, my-organic farm, and 3 breeder, 2 hatchery with the MyGap certification. And also 2 farms that are non-poultry, there is 1 pig farm and 1 cattle farm. And the swiftlet premise, we have 124 with MyGap certification, whereby they can export to Singapore. And our current livestock production value, we estimate at 1.8 billion. That is last year figure. Okay, next on the slide, you see our production and our export. For last year, 2020, our production for beef, we only managed to produce 500 over metric ton, value at 31 million. Where our SSL for beef is only around 12%. So we have a long way to go to even supply our own demand. Not to mention export to Brunei and other places. And mutton, we managed to produce about 90 metric ton only, worth 7 million, where we can only supply 5.5% of our SSL. And fresh milk, we managed to produce 2 million, about 2 billion liters from one farm, Kampung Panco. That account about 14 million ringgit and contribute to 45% of our SSL for milk. And our poultry, we managed to produce 56,000 metric ton meat, worth at 605 million. They contribute to 94% of our SSL for poultry. And egg, we managed to produce about 1.4 billion, worth 413 million. And we have surplus, we are 103% SSL egg. Pork, we managed to produce about 455,000 head, worth 455 million. And our export for the ruminant, beef, mutton, fresh milk, we don't have export. We only export the poultry, egg, and pork. And our total export value is about 322 million. So those are our production, our export for last year. And if we see our industry, we are given the target in the medium term up to 2025 and the longer term until 2030. We are given target. We are target to produce a production value of currently 1.8. We target to 3.1 billion by 2025 and 4.7 billion by 2030. And our export value, we target from the current 263 million to 800 over million by 2025 and 2.2 billion by 2030. Then by the commodities, for pork, eggs, poultry, fresh milk, beef, mutton, we have the target for the SSL. For pork, we have to target surplus of 146% by 2025 and 333% by 2030. So egg, the same. We are targeting 120% and 130% by 2030. Poultry, also we want to target at least 130 by 2030. And fresh milk, we want to target 100% SSL by 2030. And beef and mutton, we have the same target. By 2030, we want to achieve 50% SSL. So this is the target that our government asking us to achieve this target. And in order to achieve this target, we need more investors to come in. And EBN, edible bird nest, we managed to currently produce 113 metric ton, worth 340 million. We want to target 160 metric ton, worth 479 million. And by 2030, we want to target 230 34 metric ton was 700 million. Because this one we have export market in China. So there's specific target for every species, but our priority, the government has put, we want to increase our ruminant. So our population for cattle that we target by 2030, we want to target 150,000 head. That can achieve our 50% SSL. And we need to target to produce both beef and mutton. And we also want to increase local and foreign investment in the livestock industry. And also the livestock production value for 4.7 billion. That is what we target. And our export of livestock product, we want to target 2.2 billion. And we want to be a net exporter of livestock product by 2030. Next. Okay, the second part of my presentation, livestock contribution to our economy. First, in the agriculture sector, if we see the agriculture sector, our agriculture sector in Sarawak, we only contribute 14.9 billion to our state GDP. That amount to almost 12% of the state GDP. So out of this, the agriculture sector consists of the crop, livestock, fishery, even forestry. And livestock, we only contribute 4.8% to the agriculture production for the state of Sarawak. That amount to, this calculation actually is based on the statistic where they get the figure on the sales part only. The sale or the slaughter figure of the livestock. But if they take into account all the production figure, including those that are produced for, say, for the own breeding purpose, that value, when we take into account those value, it will be much bigger than this that is reported here. So our estimated production value actually is amount to 1.8 billion, but this one only take into account the dollar and cent that is being sold, that is in record, like those that are reported slaughter figure. So that's why we, from this contribution, based on the sales, only contribute 4.8% to the total agriculture production for Sarawak in terms of livestock. So this is contribution to the agriculture production. Okay, next slide. Next. Okay, if we see the contribution to the state GDP, the state GDP stands at 127 billion last year. Out of this, agriculture contribute 14.9 billion, where the livestock center actually, if the dollar and cent is already about 700 over million. But if we really calculate all the production that is not being sold, like produced for breeding purpose, which are not being sold, all those value together, it will come to 1.8 billion of livestock. So the livestock sector, actually, when we look at it this way, it only contribute about almost 1% to the state GDP only. If we really follow the record that is whereby they only record the figure of animal being slaughtered, and they don't take into account that the animal that is being produced for their own breeding and so on, and they don't take that value. If they take the value, it's much higher than this. So this is our contribution to the state GDP. Okay, next one. You see the Sarawak food trade, the livestock, the commodity where a lot of import are the live animal, meat and meat product, dairy product, dairy and bird. And the big amount for the import is on the animal feed. And our export, last year, we have quite a fair bit of export because of the pork export to Singapore. Managed to have about 115 million worth. So if we see the total livestock product being traded last year from the live animal, the other product like consists of bovine meat, beef, and so on. The total import is 1.1 billion, and our export is only 400 over million. So we are a net importer. We want to reverse this by 2030. So we need some investor to help us. Next. Okay, investment opportunity. We see that a lot of the livestock that we produce just now, they are not enough, not self-sufficient, except for poultry and egg, poultry, egg, and pork. So there is still a lot of improvement to be done in the industry. A lot of investment, a lot of production to be improved, to be done. And it can be done because we Sarawak, we have the potential for that. Okay, we see the potential for the livestock farming in Sarawak. We have a comparative advantage. Number one, our land, we are the biggest state in Malaysia. 12.4 million hectares of land. And land for livestock farming, you don't really need very fertile soil. Even the class 4, class 5 land also can be used maybe. Not like agriculture, tanam, where we plant the crop, they need a good soil like class 1, class 2, class 3. So we have plenty of land available as far as for livestock is concerned. Except for ruminant, where they need grass, they might need suitable soil. But still, we have plenty. I will go further on that later on. And Sarawak also, we have a good strategic location. We have the proximity to high-income cities like Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, BSB. We are a lot of people with a lot of money in that area, and a lot of mouth who can feed on the animal product also. Then in Sarawak, we have the strong local heritage and culture. Basically, Sarawakian, we are still farming. A big population are farming community. And many of us actually come from the farming community also. So when we come to farming, we have plenty of natural talent available in Sarawak. And also, the most important thing, we have disease freedom status. We are FMD free. We are free from avian flu also. So these are the potential advantages. Next. So there are a lot of potential investors who want to come to Sarawak to invest. You can invest to do ruminant farming, especially cattle, swine for export, poultry for export, swiftlet for the EBN export. We have big export market for, like Singapore, China. And deer also. We used to receive people want to order deer from us in Sarawak. Want to import deer, but we don't have deer to sell. So somebody come here to farm the deer for us. Don't wait for the deer to just get extinct, the wild deer in the jungle. We better farm them. And number one, tadi cattle, I put number one, cattle farming. We have a very good potential for cattle farming because in Sarawak, we have 2 million hectares of oil palm estate. Suppose if 40% of the 2 million hectares are suitable for cattle farming, the land is not too steep and so on, we can raise at least 150,000 animals inside the estate. But unfortunately, now we only have about more than 10,000 animals only inside the estate. And out of the 2 million hectare, about 100,000 hectares saja already used for cattle integration. So still a big amount of unused estate to do the cattle farming by integration. So there is a big potential there. Okay, that's cattle. Next. This is how they do the cattle integration. They go rotation inside the oil palm plantation. So every 3 months they come back to the same place, and by the time they come back to the same place, the grass also grow very fertile, so the grass almost free maintenance, quite cheap. No? This system is very cheap system. Okay, next. These are the areas all over Sarawak. We have areas of planted with oil palm can be used for cattle integration. From Lundu until Lawas. Okay, next. Okay, the next potential area to invest is pig farming. And for Sarawak, we are setting up pig farming area. We already have PFA Pasir Putih in Selangor and Selangor Simunjan. One is going to be open, nearly one in Selangor, Cebu, about 200 over hectare. And the next one we target to open up another PFA in Samarakan, Bintulu. Yeah, about 200 hectares saja. So these are potential area where investor can set up their farm, pig farm. And on top of this, if there are more investors coming, even they can also make their own pig farming area, not waiting for the government to open up the area. So this is a potential for pig. And the other one with big potential is swiftlet. If you see in the map the red dot there, those are the premise that we already installed RFID for swiftlet. It's all over Sarawak because there are so many swiftlet flying all over the whole Sarawak. So they only wait for us to come and invest, build the house for them, so that they can go into the house, build a nest. Then you just harvest the nest and sell. And also you can invest in doing the processing, setting up processing plants so that can export to China. Because at the moment we only have five companies with China certified can export to China. So we need more than that. So if investor can invest in the processing also lah. Okay, the last one, and maybe I'm not very well versed about this incentive also lah, because this one is government punya policy. And this incentive for investors, these are what has been implemented since the last Malaysia plan lah. So these are the example of the incentive that we have lah for the agriculture farming, which include crop and livestock. These are in the form of financial incentive, which are applicable to livestock and also crop land. Example, agriculture company, they have tax incentive. The type is a tax incentive like tax exemption, investment tax allowance, tax deduction, reinvestment allowance, accelerated capital allowance, agriculture allowance. The agency responsible for this is Inland Revenue. All the detail of all these incentives, we have to find out. Whoever the investor can find out later on. And the second one, halal food producer, also they have tax incentive. Halal park operator, they have tax incentive also, exemption, investment tax allowance, and so on. Halal logistic operator also can have tax incentive. Cold chain operator also can have tax incentive. Next. The all investors just now means both the local entrepreneur and also foreigners. And also there is some just for domestic, that means local entrepreneur only. or Sarawakian, like those involved in food processing, halal agriculture company, halal agriculture, young agripreneur, agriculture companies. They have the type of incentive like tax incentive, soft loan, grant. So the name of the incentive to like micro entrepreneurship, One Malaysia, AgroCash, all these form of incentive, these are the one that has been implemented since the last Malaysia plan. So those agencies involved, this include Agrobank, like the loan Agrobank, like the other entrepreneur like this SKM, Suruhanjaya Koperasi Malaysia. They also have provide cash incentive for entrepreneurs. So those are the incentives that we have for the investors, potential investors, or potential investors who want to invest in the farming, livestock farming, agriculture in Sarawak. So that's all I did for my presentation. So thank you very much for your kind